Hello and welcome to Fast and Factual on Firstpost. Let's begin with top updates from the Israel-Hamas war. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has invoked Article 99 of the UN Charter. In a rare move, Guterres wrote to the President of the Security Council to demand action on Gaza. He has urged the Security Council to avert a humanitarian catastrophe in the region. This is the first time Guterres invoked the article since he became United Nations Secretary-General in 2017. Article 99 of the UN Charter gives the Secretary-General the power to alert the Security Council on any matter which they presume may threaten international peace and security. The Israeli military has released a new video. It shows the IDF troops operating in Gaza's Khan Yunis city. Israel said its military was operating in the heart of the southern Gaza's largest city for the first time. Israeli soldiers carried out targeted raids in central Khan Yunis. IDF says soldiers eliminated terrorists, destroyed terrorist infrastructure and located weapons. The Islamic resistance has claimed that they attacked Israeli posts near the Lebanese border. A video provided by the group showed a vehicle exploding and several explosions near the alleged Israeli installations. Several parallel conflicts have broken out against Israel ever since it launched a war against Hamas in October. On its border with Lebanon, Israel has been exchanging fires with Hezbollah. Meanwhile, Yemen's Houthis have also claimed several attacks directed towards Israel. The United States has said it would object to any proposed buffer zone inside the Gaza Strip. Washington says this would violate its position that the size of the Palestinian enclave must not be reduced after the war. Last week, Israel reportedly informed several Arab states that it wants to carve out a buffer zone on the Palestinian side of Gaza's border. This is to prevent future incidents similar to the October 7th attack. On to other top stories. Russian President Vladimir Putin made a rare trip to the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia on Wednesday. During his one-day trip, Putin first landed in Abu Dhabi, where he met the UAE President Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. The Gulf nation's president called Putin his quote-unquote dear friend. His next stop was Saudi Arabia, where he appeared for hastily arranged talks with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. The two OPEC Plus members spoke about cooperation in oil prices, the Israel-Hamas war and Ukraine. Putin is due to host his Iranian counterpart Ibrahim Raisi in Moscow today. A powerful explosion rocked the industrial district of Russian-controlled Donetsk city on Wednesday. It set ablaze an oil depot in the region. However, the Russian-backed authorities haven't commented on the incident yet. There was no immediate response from Ukraine either. US President Joe Biden pleaded with Republicans for a fresh infusion of military aid for Ukraine. He warned that a victory for Russia would leave Moscow in position to attack NATO allies. Biden said, and I quote, "We can't let Putin win." He spoke as the United States planned to announce $175 million in additional aid to Ukraine. Earlier this week, the White House wrote to the US Congress warning over receding funds for Ukraine. US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin welcomed Ukraine's Defense Minister Rustem Umerov to the Pentagon yesterday. Austin hosted an honor cordon for Umerov. Meanwhile, at a conference, US and Ukrainian representatives signed an agreement to speed weapons co-production and data sharing. Vegas police say 3 people were killed in a shooting at a University of Nevada's Las Vegas campus. Officers say the suspect was struck and killed in a shootout. One other victim remains in critical condition at a local hospital. The police have said the shooting began on the 4th floor of the Beam Hall, which houses the university's business school. The motive for the violence is not known. Authorities in Colombia have blown up an illegal mining site and destroyed mining equipment. This is in the country's Amazon region. This comes as a part of Colombia's joint efforts with Brazil to crack down on illegal gold mining in the area. Robert Jenrick has resigned as Britain's immigration minister over the country's Rwanda legislation. Jenrick said that the government's emergency Rwanda legislation did not go far enough. He wanted the legislation to go further to limit any challenge to the policy. Under the UK law, the bill makes it clear that Rwanda is a safe country for asylum seekers. It was introduced to overturn a ruling by the Supreme Court. The court had ruled that sending asylum seekers to Rwanda was unlawful. Iran has sent a capsule carrying animals into space. The Salman rocket carried an all-indigenous capsule weighing 500 kilograms. This is reportedly the heaviest biological capsule ever successfully carried in the history of Iranian space program. However, neither the media nor the government has said what kind of animals were in the capsule. This comes as the country boosts its space program in preparation for human missions. Australia and neighbouring Papua New Guinea have signed a bilateral security agreement. The deal is designed to bolster Papua New Guinea's internal security through more assistance in policing, defence and the judiciary. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and counterpart James Marape hailed New Deal, calling it a progression in their security partnership. Let's shift focus to fight against climate change. The COP28 summit is facing an unprecedented deadlock over deciding the host for COP29 next year. UN rules dictate that Eastern Europe should host COP29, but the decision requires unanimous agreement from the countries in the region. Due to conflicts like war in Ukraine, negotiations have remained stalled. While the UAE is a potential host, some have expressed ethical concerns about hosting COP29 in Dubai for a second time. European Union Climate Commissioner Wopke Hoekstra emphasized that the COP29 summit must produce a final agreement, signalling the beginning of the end for fossil fuels. He said that we have no alternative than to follow what scientists tell us, and they've been telling us that we are simply not on track. UN Climate Chief Simon Style urged countries at the COP28 Climate Summit to focus on ambitious action to combat global warming. He called to refrain from engaging in point scoring or lowest common denominator politics. With tensions rising over differing views on the future of fossil fuels, he also emphasized on the need for clear directives for negotiators. Children from Africa and Latin America urged leaders at COP28 to include their voices in climate discussions. Speaking at the climate summit in Dubai, the kids emphasized the danger their future faces and called for urgent measures. A 13-year-old from Libya highlighted the impact of climate collapse and floods in her country. Another 13-year-old from Madagascar described severe effects of climate change, leading to food and water shortages and child fatalities. Paris is creating its first urban forest on a busy roundabout as part of a long-term plan to transform the city into a garden city. 478 trees will be planted in a flagship project to combat noise pollution and the effects of global warming. The roundabout, designed by architect Ricardo Bofill, has been reconfigured into a bicycle-friendly junction. Paris aims to become a garden city with 25,000 trees planted last winter as part of its tree plan. Adverts for Air France, Lufthansa and Etihad have been banned by the Advertising Standards Authority or the ASA. This is because they are reportedly misleading consumers about the airline's environmental impact. The advertisements claimed commitments to environmental protection without showing the airline's climate change impact. Lufthansa and Etihad removed the ads, while Air France did not provide a substantive response. The ASA, using artificial intelligence, identifies potential rule violations. Flash floods triggered by heavy rain flooded roads in Washington's Arlington City. The U.S. Coast Guard used a helicopter to rescue 5 people stranded by floods. North County Regional Fire Authority reported about inundated roads and a swollen Stillaguamish River. The National Weather Service warned against driving on flooded roads. Emergency management officials in Washington anticipated some river flooding persisting into Thursday. On to business and tech news. Moody's put Hong Kong, Macau and several China-owned firms and banks on downgrade warnings. This comes after the rating agency cut its outlook for Chinese government's credit ratings. Moody's said the moves for Hong Kong and Macau reflect their tight political, institutional, economic and financial links with China. American chipmaker Nvidia is working with the US government to ensure that its latest chips comply with controls on exports to China. That's according to the company's chief executive, Jensen Huang. He described Chinese tech giant Huawei as a formidable rival. Meanwhile, Huang also said that Nvidia was in talks with Singapore about a big investment there. Fast food chain McDonald's is planning to open about 10,000 new restaurants globally by 2027. If achieved, this will be the firm's fastest period of growth in its history. The company has also laid out plans to double sales from its loyalty program to $45 billion and increase its user base to 250 million customers by 2027. Currently, McDonald's loyalty program has 150 million users and generates over $20 billion annually. Volkswagen shareholders have demanded the auto giant show more transparency. The comments came from its two key shareholders, Union Investment and Decca Investment. It reflects ongoing concerns over Volkswagen's engagement in China's Xinjiang region. Rights groups have documented abuses, including forced labor in detention camps. However, this week, a long-awaited independent audit found no evidence of forced labor at Volkswagen's Xinjiang site. Elon Musk's SpaceX has been reportedly approached investors about another tender offer. If approved, this will value the company above $175 billion. The talks are in an initial stage, which means the tender volume could go up, which will value the firm even higher. SpaceX's current valuation is about $150 billion, which makes it one of the most valuable private companies in the world. American pharmaceutical company Abway is reportedly nearing a deal to acquire Cerevel Therapeutics. Abway is likely to buy Cerevel for more than $8 billion. Cerevel is a biotech company that develops drugs for neurological conditions such as Parkinson's. Reports say if negotiations are successful, a deal could be announced as early as this week. Telecommunications conglomerate Comcast is raising prices for its Xfinity program. Xfinity provides video, broadband and phone services. Reports say on average, subscribers will see a 3% increase in prices. Meanwhile, the price for internet-only service will increase by $3 a month. Meta Platforms has started to roll out default end-to-end encryption. This is for all personal chats and calls on Facebook Messenger. The feature will be available for use immediately. Messenger previously had the option to turn on end-to-end encryption. This gave the user an option to enable the feature, but with the latest change, messages would be encrypted by default. End-to-end encryption allows a message to be read only by the sender and its recipients. Meanwhile, the US state of New Mexico has sued Meta Platforms and its CEO Mark Zuckerberg. The state has accused the company of failing to protect children from sexual abuse, online solicitation and human trafficking. Meta in response has said it uses sophisticated technology and takes special measures to ensure children's safety. However, there have been rising concerns globally over Meta's handling of its young users. Alphabet has leveled up the artificial intelligence race. The firm has introduced its most advanced artificial intelligence model called Gemini. The technology is capable of crunching different forms of information such as video, audio and text. Alphabet has said that its new AI model is capable of more sophisticated reasoning and understanding information. Moving to sports, and let's start with cricket. The England women's team beat hosts India in a T20 match on Wednesday. The visitors batted first and set a massive target of 198 runs. Half-centuries from Nat Sciver-Brunt and Danny Wyatt helped England to post a high score. Indian batters were unable to keep up with the high run rate. Despite a half-century from Shafali Verma, India fell short by 38 runs. England now lead the three-match T20 series 1-0. It was a day of wins for England's cricket. England beat the West Indies by 6 wickets in Wednesday's ODI match. The host West Indies batted first and were bowled out for 202 in the 39th over. England batters Will Jacks and captain Jos Buttler both scored half-centuries in successful chase. England have now levelled the three-match ODI series 1-all. Indian spinner Ravi Bishnoi has reached the top of the ICC T20 bowler rankings. The leg spinner displaced Afghanistan's Rashid Khan to reach the top spot. Bishnoi recently won the Player of the Series in the T20 National Series against Australia. Mushfiqur Rahim has become the first batter from Bangladesh to be dismissed for obstructing the field. This happened during a test match against New Zealand yesterday. Mushfiqur played a back-foot defence shot on a ball from Kyrie Jamieson. The ball bounced on the pitch once and then Mushfiqur reached out his hand to catch the ball. After this, New Zealand called on the umpire to review the play for obstruction of field. Mushfiqur Rahim has now become the first batter in Test cricket to be declared out for obstructing the field since 1951. Moving to football, accusations against former Spanish football chief Luis Rubiales keep mounting. Now, England's Lucy Bronze has accused Rubiales of forcefully kissing her after the Women's World Cup final. Another England player, Laura Coombs, has accused Rubiales of cupping her face, which made her feel uncomfortable. Rubiales is already on trial for kissing Spanish player Jenny Hermoso without her consent. In the Premier League, Manchester United beat Chelsea 2-1 in last night's thriller. Scott McTominay scored for United in the 19th minute. Chelsea equalised in the 45th on a score from Cole Palmer. In the second half, McTominay scored his double to seal the win for Man United in the 69th minute. Aston Villa pulled an upset as they beat Manchester City 1-0 last night. The match was scoreless in the first half. In the second half, Leon Bailey scored for Aston Villa in the 74th minute to seal the win. La Liga giants Real Madrid are eyeing to sign French striker Kylian Mbappe. Real will submit a proposal to Mbappe's current club PSG before the transfer window opens. According to reports, Real have until 15th of January to submit their proposal. Spanish winger Brian Zaragoza will join German club Bayern Munich on a 5-year deal. The 22-year-old will join his new club ahead of the next season in 2024. The financial details of the transfer deal have not been disclosed yet. In tennis, Caroline Wozniacki has received a wildcard entry for the 2024 Australian Open. She's set to make her comeback at the Melbourne Park after a gap of 4 years. 33-year-old Wozniacki is a former Australian Open champion, having won the title back in 2018. On to some updates from the world of entertainment. 2023 has been Taylor Swift's year. The Time magazine has named Swift as the Person of the Year. This marks the first time an artist has received this honor for entertainment success. The musician's record-shattering year includes a globally successful tour poised to become the highest grossing in history. Swift also secured the title of the world's most streamed musical artist in 2023, amassing over 26 billion streams. Singer-songwriter Enrique Iglesias has entered significant partnership deal with music rights platform Influence Media Partners. The arrangement covers his entire professional career, including name, image and likeness rights, with the aim of expanding future licensing opportunities. According to reports, the deal is valued in 9 figures. South Korean singer V has addressed speculations about joining the special duty team during his mandatory military service. According to reports, he is expected to enroll in the anti-terrorism unit. V reassured fans, stating his intention to challenge himself and pursue personal goals. He urges fans not to worry excessively, emphasizing on his ability to handle challenges and deflect when necessary. Producer Sean Combs faces new sexual assault allegations in the 3rd civil complaint filed against him in recent weeks. The complaint included allegations of sex trafficking and gang rape. Combs vehemently denies the allegations, stating they are an attempt to tarnish his character for financial gain. The lawsuit is brought by a woman who alleges the assault occurred in 2003 when she was 17 years old. Netflix has confirmed the renewal of South Korean reality show Squid Game: The Challenge for a 2nd season. The casting is currently in progress. The announcement precedes the season 1 finale. Netflix's vice president of non-fiction series emphasized the show's success, calling it the most ambitious unscripted series premiered on the platform. Amazon Prime Video has officially renewed Harlem for a 3rd season. The series revolves around 4 best friends in Harlem as they navigate career shifts, relationships and urban aspirations. Season 1 premiered in December 2021, followed by Season 2 in February of the subsequent year. Barbie director Greta Gerwig has hinted at a possibility of a Ken doll-centric spin-off. When asked about the potential for a Ken movie, Gerwig remained non-committal. The idea gained momentum as Gerwig mentioned an abundance of unused material for Ken during the making of Barbie. Actor Angelina Jolie expressed her desire to take a break from Hollywood for slow living. In an interview, she said she's feeling worn down by unwanted attention affecting her body and mental health. The Oscar-winning actor plans to eventually leave Los Angeles permanently and spend more time at her home in Cambodia. Jolie reflects on Hollywood's unhealthy environment and expresses a quest for authenticity in her life. Actor Gwyneth Paltrow recently admitted she hasn't watched Avengers Endgame despite her significant role in the franchise. In an interview, she shared she stopped watching MCU films and struggles to keep track of characters. Despite her involvement, she expressed uncertainty about catching up but acknowledged she probably should. Legendary television writer and producer Norman Lear has passed away at the age of 101. He died at his Los Angeles home of natural causes. Lear's family announced his death on Facebook, noting that he was surrounded by family sharing stories and songs till the end. Lear is known for groundbreaking comedies like All in the Family and The Jeffersons.